So hello, Anthony and Fred. I'll be presenting to you my SDL that I made with the platform Scratch. My game that could be used as homework, a quiz, or simply extra credit is for Cycle 2, Year 2 students. My game uses the second competency, reading, as my students are being tested on words found in Shakespeare's King Lear Act 1, which is the part of the novel they should have finished. This assigned evaluation is so students can reflect on difficult words in the act. It's pretty simple, honestly. Okay, let's just jump right in. So to start, you press the space bar. Oh, hold on. Okay, there you go. So then there's the dialogue between the two. By the way, I chose goblins because they are gender fluid. There, that's the reason. So I don't know if that adds points, but anyways. So yeah, so they're just talking between themselves. It's a little history, and this is where it gives the explanation. So the ogre Frank says, okay, I have 9 words, I'm in between meanings. So you press 1 to start the first word, and then 2, so on and so forth. Also make sure to only put A or B, because if you put A, like with the parenthèse, it won't work. I figured that out through multiple tests. So yeah, let's just start. So number 1, this is a phrase from Shakespeare's King Lear. So it says, when majesty falls to folly, does folly mean A, foolish behavior, or B, being in love? So it means A, foolish behavior. So then Frank's like, yes, that makes sense. And you click 2 for the question 2. Also, funny enough, I made Frank smile because his costume never actually had a smile in it. So I had to code that myself, which is fun. And so yeah, so it kind of goes on like this for nine more questions. Just to show what it looks like when you get a question wrong. I'm going to say it's A, infirmity, even though it actually means a state of being physically weak. So he goes like that. He says, that doesn't sound right to me. So then, whatever. You move to question 3, and he's happy again. So yeah, we'll just skip to question 9 so you guys can see the end. So I marvel what kin thou and thy daughters are. Does kin mean A, family, or B, relationship? It means A, family. And yeah, so then the last part says, that makes sense, click me. So you click him, and then this is the end of the game. So it's, guess you helped me, so it's let's dive into the, and then it moves. That's another part. So let's move to the coding, see inside. The person that had the most code was Frank, because he's the main character, I guess. So as you can see in the beginning, there's dialogue between the two. I put it on a timer instead of them responding to each other. I'll explain that later on. The questions are the same for the whole time. So you press number 1, the key, to get to the question, and he says it. This was really honestly complicated for me to do. Probably took me the longest time. And if you could see at the end here, question 9, both of them, if you get it right or if you get it wrong, says click me. I don't know why I left that for 10 seconds and not for 2 seconds. I'm just going to change that. Okay, that never happened. And there you go. So, and then because it says click me, when you press the sprite, you press Frank, it will change the backdrop to the castle at the end. Just a little fun connection to the beginning dialogue. And yeah, and the goblin, all he's saying is, it's very simple, his code. He's just responding to Frank. And it's funny, he took 100 steps, but it was only that much movement. So yeah. I guess for myself, this project falls under the category in Sammer's model as redefinition. Considering you, being the teacher, could have simply asked us to create an activity for our students in an essay form, that was it. But instead, we had to make that activity with code, which is something I never done before. So this project was really a huge accomplishment for me that I never thought I could achieve, to be honest. And for my students, I guess this activity is simply substituting paper for an electronic device, but that is honestly a really big help. And when it comes to Bloom's taxonomy, again, for myself, this activity incorporated many objectives. The main one I would say would be creating, because I had to create the game using coding. And for my students, I think the main objective would be remembering, I guess, because they had to remember the list of definitions I had given them. So yeah, and I would say, yeah, so the hardest part for me in this project was the beginning with the dialogue, because initially I had my 2 little guys try to respond to one another, but it was so complicated, they kept just not making sense. So then I instead set a timer. And I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but it was my way to do it, so. But also, a huge scare of mine was by accident I had hid Frank, and it took me 10 minutes to find him again, and that was a little scary. But overall, I learned a lot about coding. I can't lie, this was a pretty difficult project for me. It was a very long process, but the feeling of accomplishment I had when I finished the project was really relieving. And oh, also the smile it brought on my face when I watched my mom test the game was really special for me. It makes me think how happy I'll be when I become a teacher, watching all my students play an activity I coded. This project gave me the idea of asking my students to create code for their classmates, because not only did I have fun during the process, but I also learned a lot of stuff, like obviously coding, but also material itself that I had no idea what those Shakespeare's words meant, but now I can say that I understand, considering I played the game around like 50 times. But yeah, so thank you so much for assigning this project, and I hope you enjoyed my game as much as I did. Okay, how do I stop this recording?